Hello children, welcome to English with Kashish. Yes, so how are we? I hope all of us are taking care of ourselves, and today we are going to do a poetry, a very beautiful poetry written by William Shakespeare. This is from your second language textbook, okay? So the poem's name is Quality of Mercy. Mercy, what does that mean? Mercy is compassion. What is the quality of mercy? How is your mercy supposed to be? How do you feel for others? Okay, so these are the qualities that we are going to see in this chapter, which are written very beautifully by none other than William Shakespeare, a very great poet. So I will talk a little bit about William Shakespeare. All this is taken from the book itself. So remember some points that I'm going to tell you which are important. He was born on April 23rd, 1564 in Stanford-on-Avon. Alright. He was regarded as the foremost dramatist of his time. He was the greatest. He was once upon a time a curtain raiser too. That passionate was he to start his drama career. His sonnets were composed between 1593 and 1601. The sonnets of Shakespeare 154 in number. He has written 154 sonnets. Sonnets are short poems which are of only 14 lines, alright, and they are always in a pattern, like the Tempest which is in your book, it is AB, AB, CD, CD, GG, correct? You remember? So all are written in the form of 3 quatrains. Quatrains are paragraphs and a couplet that is now recognized as Shakespearean. The sonnets fall into 2 groups. Sonnet 1 to 126 addressed to a beloved friend, a handsome and noble young man, and sonnets 127 to 152 to a malignant but fascinating dark lady, whom the poet loves in spite of himself. Nearly all of Shakespeare's sonnets examine the inevitable decay of time, how time passes, related to even the poet himself, Shakespeare, and the immortalization of beauty and love in poetry. In his poems and plays, Shakespeare invented thousands of words. He himself invented words. His impressive expansion of the English language, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, includes the words such as, these are the words included by Shakespeare himself. These are birthplace, bloodsucking, courtship, dewdrop, downstairs, radiance, schoolboy, stillborn, watchdog, and many more. So Shakespeare wrote more than 30 plays. He was very well known for his popular plays. These are usually divided into 4 categories. Now the plays, the concept, the theme of the plays are divided into 4 categories: histories, comedies, tragedies, and romances. His earliest plays were primarily comedies. He wrote a lot of comedies. And his histories such as Henry V and the Comedy of Errors. There are movies also made on this. But in 1596, Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet. You remember, lots of movies have come and this love story is still remembered. His second tragedy, and over the next dozen years, he would return to the form, the writing the plays for which he is now best known, which are Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, and Antony and Cleopatra. You can remember any 3 of his plays. In his final years, Shakespeare turned to the romantic with Cymbeline, A Winter's Tale, and the Tempest. You remember Tempest? We just did before. My video is there. You can look into it. Okay, so let's start our poem. Alright. Quality of Mercy, written by William Shakespeare himself. It is an extract taken from Merchant of Venice, a very beautiful play written by him. And the main characters here are Antonio. Antonio is the Merchant of Venice himself, the main character of that. Bassanio. Bassanio is the best friend of Antonio. Portia. Portia is a very beautiful young girl and she was going to marry Bassanio, who was Antonio's best friend. And the other character is Shylock. Shylock is a Jewish money lender, okay? He was very unkind and cruel. Though he used to give money to everyone, but to take it back, he used to get a lot of bad things. He used to do a lot of bad things to get his money back, okay? So what did he do here? What is this whole poetry about? Now, Bassanio was in need of money. He wanted money very, very badly. So he went to Shylock. Now, first Shylock said no to him. Now, Shylock said no to Bassanio, but Bassanio needed money very badly. He went to his best friend Antonio because he knew him. So, Antonio went and requested Shylock, please give him money in my name. So, he said, okay. But, in case he doesn't give me my money back, I need 1 pound of his flesh as interest. Now, 1 pound is 453 grams of flesh. So he said, if he doesn't give me my money back, I want 1 pound of flesh. That's a very rude request. But then at that point, because he was really in need of money, as he wanted something for his business, Bassanio said, yes. Now, the time comes when he has to return the money. And Bassanio does not have money to return. So Shylock is behind him for that. Now, they go to court, they do everything. So in this entire poem, Portia is requesting Shylock to do mercy. She tells him that you don't know what is mercy. I will give you the money back. Give me some time. Now, what quality of mercy should be there in a human being? She is explaining in the whole poetry. So, let's do one by one a line of explanation. The quality of mercy is not strained. Okay, strained. Strained is either forced or compelled. Strained is in your glossary. Mercy is not forceful. It should come from within. Alright, you can't feel bad for someone intentionally. You actually feel bad for someone. Now, if there is a poor man in front of you and he is very hungry and he is joining hand in front of you, you yourself would want to give him food. Not like, oh, okay, I have to give him food. Correct? Yes. So, it is not strained or forced. It comes from within our heart. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. How will you see the gentle rain? It comes naturally, and when you see it, it's beautiful. It's coming very softly and naturally. So that's how mercy is supposed to be. It is not in a forced manner. God sends mercy naturally. When you look at it, you feel good, you feel pleasant, you feel beautiful. So it drops. It drops down very gently as the rain from heaven, as if God is sending it to us very gently. So this is how Portia is telling him that this is how the quality of mercy should be. Upon the place beneath, it is twice blessed. Blessed is blessed. These are words which were used very, very long time back in poetry. Now they don't use it, but we should know the meaning. It is blessed, which is blessed. Now, the giver and the taker, both are blessed. The giver is blessed by God, yes, and the taker is blessed by the giver himself, correct? So, giver feels good in his heart. He feels very happy about it, and the taker obviously is released from a lot of things. So, both are blessed. Advantage is to both of them. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. So, it works in both the manners, correct? Whoever is giving also is blessed, and whoever is taking also is blessed. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest it becomes. Okay? This means that the mightiest of the mightiest, the biggest king or the biggest ruler, it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. Now you can see there is a crown, right? And there is a throne. It is with the king, but does it matter? It does not. If the king does not have the quality of mercy in him, he is of no use. The throne, the king, the power, the empire, everything is of no use if he doesn't have the quality of mercy in his heart. Yes, this is what Portia tells him. Even if you are the biggest ruler in the world, you have the crown, you have the throne, you have all the people listening to you. If you are a rude royal king, I don't think it matters. What matters is if you are good to your followers, if you are good to your people. Now, mightiest is strongest and powerful, okay? The mightiest in the mightiest is becomes. Throned monarch. What is monarch? Monarch is the king or the ruler himself, better than his crown. So, from his crown or his throne, mercy goes high up. A king, a monarch or a ruler is not complete when he doesn't have mercy in him. He cannot be called a ruler if he does not have mercy. So this whole poem is on page number 41 for you. Okay? His scepter. What is a scepter? A scepter is a rod kind of a thing which every ruler or a king has. You must have seen in pictures, right? Shows the force of temporal powers. What are temporary powers? It is all, this is temporal, okay? Temporal means worldly powers which are temporary, like the crown, the throne, the scepter. Now scepter, the meaning of scepter in your glossary is, it is a decorated rod carried by a king or a queen as the symbol of power. That means that shows the power of them, that they are so popular as a ruler. Okay. Now his scepter shows the force of temporal power. His rod shows the power which is very temporary. Okay, but if mercy is not in him, all these are temporary powers, all these are worldly powers. What is the main power? Mercy. Let's move on. The attribute to awe and majesty. What is awe? Awe is a kind of excitement with fear. The attribute to awe and majesty. This rod, the scepter that he carries, is the attribute of awe. That means when he has that rod, the king has the rod, general public is little scared of him. And majesty. Majesty is the royal power. That means the royal power, they are also scared of his royal power and his majesty. Wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. What is doth? Doth means does. Where does the dread is threat and fear of kings. This shows that everyone is scared of the king. They fear him. But mercy is above this scepter's sway. Mercy is above all the threat and fear. This is what these two lines tell us. It is enthroned in the heart of kings. It is inside. Enthroned means seated. Mercy should be seated inside the heart of the king. Who is the king? King is like God to us. We go for all our problems to the king, right? And if our God, our king, will not have mercy in our heart, he will not be called a king. So, his first few lines tell us about the worldly powers, everything. But then he tells us that beyond everything, what goes above is the mercy, which goes all above the rest. The most important quality to be in a human being. It is an attribute to God himself. That means it is a quality or a character of God himself. That means God has come down as a king to protect you, to take care of you. An earthly power doth then show likest God. And then our king or anyone becomes like a God. What is likest God's? Like that of God. If anyone shows mercy to you, they are like God to you. So what do you think happened in our story? Yes, Portia won. And he told her, okay, I will give you little time. you can take your time and give me back my money. So that's a beautiful thing, right? What Portia did. When mercy seasons justice. So when mercy seasons is what? It means tempers. Do you remember we get seasoning when we order a pizza? What is that? That means it is to be added to something. It is a temperer. It is something that you mix. So when mercy is mixed with justice, it is like God's justice to you, God's decision making power. So when mercy seasons justice, everything becomes good. Okay, so in that story also, Portia got justice just because she showed the quality of mercy. Bosini showed the quality of mercy. I hope you understood the chapter. It's a very beautiful one. And with this, you will also have mercy for everyone. Be compassionate, be nice to any human being around you. So we will start our question answers. Question 1, the question answers are on the next page, which is page 42. The poem is on page 41. Mercy is compared to something in the first 2 lines of the poem. What is it? How is that comparison apt? Justify your answer. What is mercy compared to in the first 2 lines? It is compared to the gentle rain from heaven. This comparison has many suggestions. Now, what is this called also? Comparison simile. When you compare 2 things. Okay? First of all, it signifies that just as the gentle rain is one of the natural phenomena, you don't do anything. It comes from top. Do you do anything? No. So like that, mercy also comes from within. You don't have to force it to come out. Mercy is a natural trait in human beings. If human beings don't show mercy, then they don't deserve to be called human beings. Won't we be called animals if we don't have mercy? It is only because of mercy that we are separate from animals. Okay? Mercy is inside us, in our hearts somewhere. We just have to find it. Actually, not even find it. It comes naturally. Secondly, the analogy between the gentle rain and mercy is also the symbolic of the fact that mercy comes one's way very unexpectedly. And when it comes, it is as soothing as the gentle rain. Now, 2 of you are walking, you and your friend. Now, suddenly your friend trips on a stone and he's just about to fall. What do? What is your reaction instantly? You instantly go and catch him. That's it. That's mercy, which is inside you always. Thirdly, the gentle rain from heaven is indicative of God's mercy on human beings. God's mercy on human beings. Since we expect and enjoy God's mercy on us, we cannot deny the same to others. Okay? The Christian spirit is to say, what does it say? Do unto others as you would have them do to you. That means always be like how you want the others to be to you. You want others to treat you nicely, be nice to them. You want others to treat you angrily and with hatred, you also do that. You will get it back. That's what he is saying here. The speaker says that mercy is twice blessed. What does she mean by this? Who is she in this? Portia. What does she mean by this? When the speaker says that mercy is twice blessed, she draws the attention of the giver to the fact that even as he gives, you are giving something, you are removing something out of yourself, he receives. You get in return. Because mercy blesses not only the receiver, but also the giver. The speaker tries to show that if the receiver of mercy is blessed with a sense of gratitude. What is sense of gratitude? You be happy with what you have. You are thankful for what you have. And every day you said thank you to God. Correct? The giver has the sense of fulfillment of being God's messenger as he has acted with divinity. So with this you can also write 5 lines of gratitude. 5 things that you are thankful to God. Okay, it is not in your syllabus, but just for yourself, you should do it. And you should every day write 5 things of gratitude. Okay? Let's go to question number 3 now. Scepter shows the force of temporal power. In contrast, what or whose qualities does mercy stand for? If the scepter shows the force of temporal power, which is worldly power, mercy shows the permanent worth of a king because it flows from his heart and makes him like God or godlike. It is only when the monarch, the ruler, has the quality of mercy that he can do justice to the concept of the king is divine. Mercy and forgiveness are enduring themes that pervade Shakespeare's works. Mercy is always shown in Shakespeare's works. Okay, it is a very enduring theme. That means it's always there in his plays and everything, like mercy and forgiveness. The poem is an example of the esteem in which Shakespeare held those who showed mercy. Shakespeare presented mercy as a quality most valuable to the most powerful, strongest and highest people in the society. He says whoever is on a higher state or a powerful state in the society, their most important quality is mercy. They don't have it, they don't deserve to be called highest or powerful. Okay. So some traits, now this is question number 4. Some traits or qualities are mentioned below. Classify them into 2 categories of temporal power and divine. That means temporal means worldly or which are temporary powers that are not permanent, and divine which are godly attributes. Now divine powers are permanent. Temporary powers will come and go. You are sitting on a throne like a king. You can also be like a normal man someday, right? You can't be the king all the time. So when you are a king, you get temporary powers. But as a human, you have divine powers always with you. So the qualities are love, revenge, sympathy, tyranny, cruelty, miserliness, mercy, hatred, tit-for-tat attribute or compassion. What is tit-for-tat attribute? Now your friend sometimes comes and he eats your tiffin because he finds it very yummy and he is very hungry. What do you tell yourself? Let him get his tiffin tomorrow. I am also going to eat off his tiffin. He ate my tiffin. I am also going to eat his tiffin. So that is tit-for-tat. Now let's divide these qualities. Now in temporal powers which are temporary comes revenge, tyranny, cruelty, miserliness, hatred and tit-for-tat. These are all temporary or worldly powers. These are all created by human beings. Divine attributes. These are godlike. Okay. Love, sympathy, mercy and compassion. This is what God wants in your heart always for everyone. Be it for fellow human beings or plants or animals. Now read and appreciate. This is also in page 42. This is the question number 1 for the read and appreciate. Read the first 2 lines of the poem. Explain the simile. We talked about simile right now, which is comparison briefly. Now in the first 2 lines of the poem, the poet compares mercy to gentle rain. When you compare something to something, it is called a simile form. Gentle rain from heaven. This comparison has many suggestions. First of all, it signifies that just as gentle rain is one of the natural phenomena, mercy is a natural trait of the human beings. If human beings don't show mercy, then they don't deserve to be called human beings. They are next to animals. Secondly, the analogy between the gentle rain and mercy is also symbolic of the fact that mercy comes one's way very unexpectedly. And when it comes, it is as soothing as the gentle rain. Thirdly, the gentle rain from heaven is indicative of God's mercy on human beings. Since we expect and enjoy God's mercy on us, we cannot deny the same to others. Now, God will never be cruel to anyone. He always has mercy on us. Don't we say that? Oh God, please have mercy on us. Right? So like that, exactly like that, you also should be like that with fellow human beings, your friends, your family and everyone around you. Question 2. How do you interpret the speaker's interpretation of mercy as twice blessed? What does he want to say when he says that when you give mercy, it is to the giver and the taker? Let's elaborate it. If mercy is shown to somebody, the giver is definitely blessed. Simultaneously, the person who takes receives, okay? Mercy is also blessed. So, according to the speaker, it is twice blessed. The interpretation is as follows. In nature, if the cloud is blessed, it showers the rain on the earth. On the other hand, the earth also gives trees and fruits. It is blessed. That means both the cloud, that is the giver, and the earth, which is the receiver, were blessed twice. It is vice versa. Both are receiving mercy. Question 3. Now the speaker compares the power of the king with the power of mercy, saying that mercy is the mightiest of the mightiest. How does she justify this? Read the last para of the text carefully. Now, the throned kings, the powerful and majestic kings, had the power to rule. Whatever they say has to be followed as a compulsion, okay? They carry their scepter, which indicates their royal power. The scepter is also symbol of their majesty. That means they are powerful. They can create a threat and fear in the hearts of their people by using their worldly powers. That means the decision making. Whatever they say, everyone has to do. Now your mama says you have to sleep by 7:30. She's like a king, she's like a ruler. Has she said it, you have to do it. Correct? But mercy is the divine quality if the monarchs had imbibed mercy in their heart. Now, without mercy, there's nothing. They become like God if they have mercy in their heart. They are the king, yes, but then they become God if they have mercy in their heart. Mercy can overrule the temporal power and kings are changed like God. So the speaker compares both and says that mercy is the mightiest of the mightiest. It is stronger than the strong, stronger than the king. Mercy goes all above everything. Even if the strongest king is there, it goes above that. It is stronger than the strongest. Question number 4. Can you think of any story wherein such virtues of mercy, compassion or sacrifice are highlighted? If so, narrate them in class. So this is one example I'm going to read to you very quickly. The story posted on Mail Online on Sunday, April 27, 2014 is an amazing story of mercy and forgiveness. A mother whose only child was shot dead showed the ultimate forgiveness by inviting her son's killer to live next door. Now, how will you invite a son's killer to live next to you? How do you see him every single day and you have the feeling in the heart that he killed you? Forgiveness, yes. Mary Johnson, 59, now lives in an apartment adjoining the home of a 34-year-old Oshea, Israel, and they share a porch. They share the common garden. In February 1993, Mrs. Johnson's son, Laramiam Baird, 20, he was only 20-year-old, was shot in the head by a 16-year-old Israel after an argument at a party in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Israel. This is in Israel. So there was an incident where a 16-year-old boy shot a 20-year-old boy in a party, okay, who was involved with drugs and gangs, was tried as an adult and sentenced to 25.5 years. Yes, he went to the jail, but a mother lost her son, right? He served 17 before being released. He was in jail for 17 years. He now lives back in the neighborhood where he grew up, next door to the mother of the young man he murdered. Mrs. Johnson said she originally wanted justice and to see Israel locked up for what he had done. Correct. However, later she decided to find a support group and counseled mothers whose children had been killed and encouraged them to reach out to the families of their murderers who were victims of another kind. Yes, she wanted justice for her son. She wanted to see him in the jail. But what she did? She actually created a support group of all the mothers whose children have been killed and to talk to the parents of those children. That's such a beautiful thing to do. Even the parents of these children were feeling bad, isn't it? Then, just a few years ago, the 59-year-old teacher and devout Christian asked if she could meet Israel at Minnesota's Stillwater State Prison. She said she felt compelled to see if there was a way in which she could forgive her son's killer. She felt like empathetic, you know. At first, he refused, but then 9 months later changed his mind. Israel said he was shocked by the fact that she wanted to meet him. This is her son's killer and she wants to meet him. Why? He said, I believe the first thing she said to me was, look, you don't know me. I don't know you. Let's just start with right now. And I was befuddled myself. The pair met regularly after that. She told the prison inspector that I don't know you and you don't know me, right? Let's just start with today. I want to meet him. So he said, okay. Then they met repeatedly after that. When Israel was released from prison around 18 months ago, Mrs. Johnson introduced him to her landlord, who, with her blessings, he actually agreed to her for him to stay next to her, invited Israel to move into the building. Mrs. Johnson and Israel are now very close friends, a situation that she puts down to her strong religious beliefs, but says she also has a selfish motive. Now she's also thinking of one more thing, which is unforgiveness is like cancer. It will eat you from the inside out. Now when you're not feeling well and you have a disease, what happens? Slowly, slowly all your organs start to die, start to go bad. Just like that, unforgiveness. When you have hatred against a friend or someone else, you will keep thinking about him all day and night. Whenever you see him, you will think about those incidences and keep feeling bad. But if you forgive and forget all that, it's good for you. Next time when you meet him, he'll be your friend and you would have forgiven everything else. Give a chance to someone else too. So such a beautiful incident, right? It's not about that other person. Me forgiving him does not diminish what he's done. Yes, he murdered my son, but the forgiveness is for me. Mary Johnson even wears a necklace with a two-sided locket. On one side are photos of herself and her son. The other side has the picture of Israel himself. Israel admits he still struggles with the extraordinary situation he finds himself in. He said, I haven't totally forgiven myself yet. I'm learning to forgive myself. This is what Israel said, but I'm still growing towards trying to forgive myself. Israel now hopes to prove himself to the mother of the man he killed. He works at a recycling plant during the day and goes to college at night. Now he's a very hard-working fellow. Because she forgave him, he's trying hard to become a better person. He says he's determined to pay back Mrs. Johnson's clemency by contributing to society. He visits prisons and churches to talk about forgiveness and reconciliation. Mrs. Johnson offers to join him and they tell their story together. He added, a conversation can take you a long way. Now he goes to people and changes their thoughts. They tell their story and let others also follow them. Question number 5. This poem has 14 lines, but it is not a sonnet. Look at the ending of the lines and justify the above statements. The poem, Quality of Mercy, does not have either the quatrains or the couplet. Neither does it have a usual rhyming scheme. In fact, what we see here is free verse, which is an open form of poetry. It does not use consistent meter, patterns, rhyme or any other musical pattern. Okay, that's why it's not a sonnet. It thus tends to follow the rhythm of natural speech as if you're talking to someone. This is understandable as the selected piece is an extract from Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice, because this is a part taken out from a play. There are 14 lines in a Shakespearean sonnet. All the sonnets of Shakespeare have only 14 lines and they all follow a pattern. The first 12 lines are divided into 3 quatrains with 4 lines each. In the 3 quatrains, the poet establishes a theme or problem and then resolves it in the final 2 lines called the couplet. Now this is a couplet, the final 2 lines, and quatrains are the first 3 paras. The rhyme scheme of the quatrains is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF. The couplet has the rhyme scheme G, G. This is the pattern which Shakespeare follows in all his sonnets. This sonnet structure is commonly called the English sonnet or the Shakespearean sonnet. To distinguish it from the Italian Petrarchan sonnet form, which has 2 parts, a rhyming octave which is AB, BA, AB, BA, and a rhyming set which is CD, CD, CD. These are the other 2 patterns which everyone follows, but Shakespeare only follows this kind of pattern which we saw in The Tempest. Do you remember? So this is where we finish our poetry. And I'm going to read the summary, which is very, very important. It is like a conclusion of the chapter. Quality of mercy is the extract taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. In the play, Portia, the main character, argues why mercy is the greatest virtue of all. The well-known poet William Shakespeare describes the quality of mercy through Portia in the play. This is not the poem or a sonnet. It is only an argument of Portia. Here Portia conveys the greatness of mercy. The quality of mercy is not showered by force or compulsion. It is showered like a gentle rain directly from heaven or paradise to our own earth. Whenever mercy is given, that it definitely comes back, that is, gives and take. So it is blessed by 2 times. It becomes strongest of the strongest, never ceased. The kings and the emperors of the earth had their power. They had all the worldly powers. They can do what they were thinking. They can rule as they like, right? Their quality or character makes the threat in the hearts of the people. They are scared of the decisions that the king or the ruler will make. The people had fear about the king's power. Though they had majesty, they had the dignity. But if the kings had mercy in their heart, it ruled over their power. Mercy should be seated in the hearts of the kings. They become like that of God, next to God. Then their royal power changes to God's power. They are good to their people and loved by their subjects or people. So mercy is my quality of God, those who cultivate mercy in their character. They become like God himself. According to the author, mercy is the divine quality and greatest virtue of all. So here we end the poetry Quality of Mercy by William Shakespeare. All the question answers, summary and this video you will find in the app. Please do solve all the quizzes and the games and score a lot of points. I will see you soon with the next poem or chapter. Signing out, Kashish. Thank you.